welcome to the Mancat Cast, where we talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Toku. We're your hosts, Tenma.
And I'm Cotaku.
Now, this podcast will contain spoilers, but we'll try to avoid them as much as possible. Also, for those of you who just want to listen to the Toku or the JoJo parts, links will be provided so you can just listen to that. And all that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And the anime, yes, Hell Horse finally appeared.
I haven't seen the episode just yet, but I heard there was a lot of emphasis about Kakyoin and Polnareff, and since you watched the episode, what's your opinion on it?
What's my opinion on it? It was very sad. I cried. I actually made a post of my tears. No, I actually just did that as a joke. But no, it was despite. It was really funny. Like, first time I read part 3 was 4 years ago when I started reading JoJo, and then I recently reread it for the anime's sake and all that. And yeah, I'm just like, I know this is happening. Oh, god damn, that actually hurt more. And yeah, they did a little bit more emphasis on like Polnareff's time away from the party and how everyone felt. And of course they did, the main important thing was they started toilets around the world,
The menacing toilet will never avert from my eyes.
Yes, the menacing toilet. Yeah, toilets around the world started, which is really the subtitle for part 3. It's toilets around the world. For everyone that's just started watching the anime, Polnareff will keep getting attacked inside bathrooms.
Some of these times will be enjoyable, some of these will not. But you'll still make a laugh out of it.
Yes, Polnareff in bathrooms. They kind of. I think you said what you replied to me on Twitter of Pol's toilet adventures or something.
I don't recall that, but perhaps I have. The next endeavor in the toilet will be truly menacing.
Yes.
There's no way to
it's gross. It's actually kind of gross.
Yes, I almost said something else because of my stammer.
it's rather a pun rather, but no, it is rather gross what's about to come up. But no, the funny bit is toilets around the world started. And yeah, I don't know. It's Abdul's death kind of felt like it had more weight to it. Maybe I should go reread that scene again, but I felt like they kind of played up more shock on Kakyoin's part, on him like holding a dead body.
Well, to my recollection on the manga, they didn't bring enough emphasis. So I think it's actually a good thing that David Production does a lot of justice filler. Mm-hmm. That actually brings more characters out of the story. In the previous episodes, you may recall the most famous scene where Kakyoin comes back to Avdol and Joseph's room as proclaiming he was sunbathing, even though he was doing it in his own freaking school uniform.
Which, was a callback to when they're on the boat and, they're sunbathing in their uniforms. He's like, well, I'm a student. I should, look like a student. And then he's like, yeah, I was sunbathing. In your uniform? Of course.
And each episode has these little moments. Even though they are completely insignificant, they bring so much out of the characters.
Yeah.
They did as much as bring a nameless character a name, just for the sake that it'll have background.
Yeah, it's like, we were like, well, who's the runaway girl? Well, it's Anne, and, as much as I kind of find her like the annoying tag-along kid, that really was important to give her a name, because, they just refer to as the girl in the manga, or, she, or in pronouns. They never refer to her by name, and then all of a sudden, by giving her a name, it actually felt like she was a part of the group for a while, because she was. They did kind of look after her.
Yeah, for a couple of days, for a bunch of disturbing beefcake guys.
Yes.
I'm not even sure why she hung out with them, beyond the boat and the bigger boat.
Yes, I'm like, why? I would have noped. But I guess she's like me, Why do I like Stardust Crusaders? Well, there's a very shallow reason why I like Stardust Crusaders, and that is all the men are kind of hot. So that's probably why she's like, ooh, hot men's.
Don't be ashamed of it, girl.
There's other reasons why I like this part, but that's probably a big factor of good-looking men's. Speaking of which, I really love that tearing apart Whoopi Kakyoin there, going through shock. Delicious tears. Because you know us fangirls in tears and Whoopi moments.
Delicious cherry tears.
Delicious cherry tears. Nah, just kidding on that. But, no, that was, like, they really are, putting smaller, like, these small little moments. And, giving names to characters that never had a name. And we actually are, I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit more attached to them the first time around. Because, and maybe that's why, Abdul's death affected me again. Is, not just because, first time I read it through, I'm like, God damn, that was cold and fast. But, I've had time to really love the JoJo characters, and then the anime's kind of bringing a lot of them in a new light, and you get to see them in a new light. So it's just been, like, wow, that was a gut punch. And, Howl Horse! Oh my gosh, I was watching it with a friend of mine, and he was like, I already like Howl Horse. Because he's so full of shit. God bless Howl Horse. Howl Horse and Jay Guile, I find, like, that's kind of the fight that really kind of pushes things along.
I just want to say, for future reference, Jay Guile and Centerfold are the same person if you are watching the anime through the current anime or playing JoJo All-Star Battle.
It just, it's funny, they like, subtitle it Centerfold, and, like, you could clearly hear them say Jay Guile. And the reason, I guess it has to do with maybe the Jay Guile ban kind of took away the copyright. Because I know the English translation of the manga was still Jay Guile. So it's probably some sort of copyright thing wrapped in there. But they were able to at least still reference the Jay Guile ban through Centerfold, which is one of their songs that they're known for. I find it kind of disturbing because, my love for you's like a centerfold. And all that, it's this quite catchy song, and, about a woman, and I'm like, yes, let's name your rapist murderer character Centerfold.
Well, it was the closest thing they could have gotten, and we're gonna have to live with it, even though,
I know.
I seriously don't understand why, the subgroups, themselves are using the name Centerfold, although, like, I can understand the fact that they want to make an accurate naming according to the game, though they haven't changed Jean-Pierre Polnareff to Jean-Pierre Eiffel.
Yeah, they...
I don't terrible as it is, I don't see any reason that if you kept one thing, you don't need to undo the other.
It could be because American copyright is so weird. It could be also, like, into that, because it could be that they could have gotten the rights for it for the game, but not, for the streaming of the anime. American copyright, it's a jumbled mess. Well, look at, Marvel right now, what they're going through with the movie studios. Despite the fact that all those characters are owned under Marvel, other studios, because Marvel sold the rights to do the movies for them, they're able to make movies outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this just sounds like a tale of really jumbled up American law bullshit.
Yeah, like, from what I heard that the Avengers' Pietro and Wanda are basically like Peter and Wanda, because they cannot use the name Pietro because Days of Future Past already has it, and like the fact that they cannot be referred to as mutants rather than experiments because the mutants aspect is already belongs to X-Men. And not also to mention the very fact that the Amazing Spider-Man movies cannot use the most titular slogan that build the entire franchise.
Yeah,
even though it felt much more influential when Charlie Sheen's dad said it.
Yeah, and it I think that the reason why we're seeing some things going on in the kind of the bringing over to America, is we're starting to see kind of that jumbled up copyright laws. By the way, is Golden Experience still called Golden Experience in All-Star Battle? I don't know the game, so I'm kind of like clueless.
From what I know, Golden Experience has changed to Golden Wind, and Stone Free has turned into Stone Ocean.
Okay, yeah, the reason why I said that is Prince is notorious about his image and what you can use. So I'm like, I would not be surprised if, because of Prince's estate, they had to change any sort of Prince references they had. I don't know about Hendrix's estate, but I was, not surprised they probably had to change that.
Oh, well, at least we got the game. Fans really just wanted the game, and we basically got it. As much as it was botched up adaptation, we got what we were wishing for.
Yeah, and it just kind of that was kind of one of the big things that has been kind of has been a blocking factor for JoJo to come over here. Really has been a lot of the copyright issues, because of the fact Araki references music in nearly everything in JoJo. I mean, dear God, you had the 4 zombies who were basically the entire original formation of Led Zeppelin. All their names were. I'm like, really? You're crazy. This is like me if I was writing. It's like, I don't know, I'm gonna use a music reference. But yeah, I mean, we're starting to kind of see those effects of how they are adapting it. And I'm kind of am glad that, we are getting a US adaptation, because it's been so long. And it really, JoJo kind of, whether or not you like the series, it actually does deserve it. It's a really influential manga in terms of its, let me muddle up my words, but it really is like an influential manga. I think someone once said on Tumblr, like, at least one thing you like references JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, like, there's no way around it that JoJo is able to touch both Western and Japanese culture, like, without even blinking an eye.
Yeah, it's just,
like,
yeah, it has been just such a staple for so long. And it's still going, yeah, with the confusing Jojolion, or Jojolion, or Jojo Part 8. What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, like, it's been nearly 3 years and we are not as sure at what is going on as we were in the first chapter.
Yeah, it's been, we're starting to get hints of what's going on, but it's just been a wild, truly bizarre coaster ride, and that's really saying something, because it's JoJo. Everyone's like, oh, it's JoJo, of course it's bizarre, but I'm like, Part 8's particularly bizarre.
Yeah, like, I started reading the JoJo manga way back in 2007, and only reading Jojolion that I was able to feel honest eeriness and slight disturbedness from what is going on. Like, I'm not sure I think the very fact that you are very uncertain of your position in the story, like, because Josuke has amnesia and you have no idea what's going on around you, because everyone can just betray you.
Yeah,
and this is the staple of the show.
Yeah, it's basically, you have Josuke, who is 2 parts of a person. We only know the one part he is, which is Yoshikage Hira. It's the, like, only other person that we know that he is part, but he's made of 2 parts people. His stand is a fusion of that, apparently. And then the only other person that he can really trust is Yasuo, who's
Yasuo.
Yeah, Yasuo. Sorry.
No, you're right.
Yeah. I kind of did my little lisp there when pronouncing her name. I'm sorry. But she like
Nah, it's cool.
she's kind of the only person that he can trust. And she's just the person that found him laying like naked after an earthquake. Like, oh crap, there's this injured guy and he's naked and he has 4 balls. What the hell's going on? And, poor girl is like the normal person in like an actual legit normal person being thrown into a Jojo part. Like, has no idea what's going on. So, that's kind of the protagonist and the main viewpoint characters that we deal with. And so we're just like, we don't know what's going on. But some things have been answered. Kind of. Sort of.
The only lead we've got is about the current unravelment about people that are stone people, as we can currently refer to them, which are not to be confused with the Pillar Men, because the Pillar Men are chiseled to the map. To the maps.
They're very chiseled.
Yep. And like we barely got acquainted with the concept of the stone people, and we'll probably hear more about it in like a year or so, like give or take how the chapters progress. And something about a mysterious fruit that came into Yeshuo's possession that supposedly can stop the petrification of the Higashikata family of the firstborns. Am I right?
Yes, that's pretty much what we have, is what's going on so far. And then that still doesn't, the other thing that's kind of also going on with the Joestar line, it looks like parts of a person become missing. So we kind of have 2 cursed bloodlines here. And that's really all we know. And yeah, the fruit thing made me laugh though because of Gaim. I'm like, no, don't eat that fruit. You'll turn into a monster.
That'll be terrible, but now it really begs the question: what would happen if a normal person that isn't petrified would eat it? Like, will it give birth to something else?
Oh my goodness, we will probably see within the next coming month or so. It's really Jojolion, Jojolion, Jojo Part 8, whatever you want to call it. It's really it's been very much a wild ride. And one of the things I think this is getting to big spoiler territory, so if you want to kind of cut off here, of course, we're talking about Part 8, so you probably already know, but if you are just reading Part 8 and haven't read anything else, I suggest you tune out. But I'm starting to think it's kind of retconning that fan theory that this is the universe that that was made from Made in Heaven at the end of Part 6. Because there is
go on.
Yeah, because of that, there's a big, huge fan theory that, like a lot of people kind of subscribe to, and I did for a while until this part, that, what we're seeing in the Steel Ball Run universe, it was what was created from Made in Heaven at the end of Part 6. But, it's starting to look like now it may not be the same place. First off, the Joestars still have a very tragic thing with what happened with Johnny. And, but you brought up an interesting point when we talked about this.
Well, my theory is as follows, that during the events of Made in Heaven, that Pucci reached his full potential and was able to make a time lapse, like universal restart, as you can call it, and like we reached a universe that has no Joestar bloodline in it, and the only 2 survivors from the original universe were both Emporio and Pucci himself. Like, because everything that is killed by Made in Heaven is basically erased.
Mm-hmm.
And during the final acts of Stone Ocean, Emporio was able to overcome Pucci himself before the process could have been finalized, which Pucci said that his defeat would create an uncalculated outcome, like another universe, because he would basically be written out of the existence, like Pucci himself, I mean.
Yeah.
Meaning that like either I don't know how to specify like what exactly got erased from the universe, but it seemed like it changed so much, and like it basically brought Emporio to a universe where Pucci never existed and everything was maybe to his ideal dreaming.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that. Maybe it was like giving a happy hand to Emporio because he was left alone. But I just think that the Stillborn run and everything that happened in the final chapter of Stone Ocean is basically Emporio's universe.
Mm-hmm. But kind of the thing that's getting to me is the fact that in Emporio's universe, Jolene still exists as Irene, and there's clearly something that, in order for her to have that relationship with her father, Jotaro kind of did what he did. This does not excuse the fact that he was a shitty-ass father figure, but he did what he did because he felt like it was best for Jolene to kind of protect her from what he went through as a teenager, and he didn't want her to get involved in the Joestar mess. So it looks like that something happened to where Jotaro didn't have to, or that universe's Jotaro did not have to worry about something coming up and hurting Jolene. He, could go and research dolphins all he wanted. Or really Irene in this. This is where it's kind of getting me to where, is this, like, in the way future? That we're seeing, because Jojolion does take place in Steel Ball Run, and Steel Ball Run for the most part kind of upheld the theory, but Jojolion's kind of now taking a lot of that theory and kind of, shaking it up a little bit, and that's kind of my thing, like, looking at it, like, okay, so we're basically looking at something that takes place around the same time as Stone Ocean, along with very we're still dealing with a very different bloodline kind of things, but you're still dealing with the Joestar bloodline mess of life sucks to be a Joestar. So,
hasn't it always?
Yes. Well, no, apparently before Jonathan it didn't suck. But,
But what about George's life and the carriage?
Oh, that's right, his wife died. So that sucked. And then he was killed by his adoptive son. So it really started with George. But it seems like before that, it really, being a Joestar wasn't, that terrible until that carriage accident. Until he got that stone mask, apparently. That stone mask is trouble, yo. And, we'll see if it still kind of turns out to be. I still have like some of my theories in case, just to, hang on to it. Cause part of me really does, still want to hold on to, that is the world created. But I'm starting to like look at it and I'm like, some things are just not adding up like they should.
Yeah. Like, as you said, both timelines are like, I can't say they're overlapping in terms of, like, chronology, because obviously Jojolion happens a couple of years after the events of Stone Ocean, and well, we can just thinking about it, because like, for all we know, what is obvious that the Stillborn Run universe is connected to Jojolion, but we cannot determine what is the connection of both of these stories to the original story.
Yeah.
So The only assumption I can make is that even though Emporio's knowledge of the Joestar lineage is close to zero, I can only imagine that when he was the center of the universal restart, he basically like tried to pray for something like peaceful life for the Joestar or the Jolene. Like, so maybe like stuff like the conflict with Dio wasn't able to turn out the same way it did.
Yeah, and that's what I definitely think what happened is that thing with Dio, because of the way Steelball Run kind of has Dio, there's none of that kind of internal conflict that you see in the main, like the original flavor canon, where Dio was kind of the big bad behind something, or the cause of something going wrong in a part, or he fathered the son who was the main character of a part, but so on and so forth. So, but we will see. I will definitely also discuss some more like JoJo theories for part 8 for next time. But that's kind of, I guess, some food for thought to like kind of think of is more of like, are they really the same? Because, you know, part of me wants to hold out on it. But part, like,
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, huge part of me is going, this may be something completely different.
Yeah, and we can only test our theory after it goes on for like a couple of more years. We need to make certain that we have all the facts in our grasp.
And
but otherwise, we cannot disprove or rule out any option we've got.
Yeah, but I definitely will also like discuss some more like who might be who next time. But that's all the time we have for talking and discussing of the JoJo. Next up will be some toku. Okay, so we're back to talk about all the toku things in life. Various sorts of toku. ToQger and Gaim are kind of the current superhero time stuff going on. Gaim is getting close to the end. You know,
we're still not quite sure how long the series it is. We didn't get like a solid time staple because it will be kept long enough for the summer movies to hold out.
Yeah, it's probably going to be what, a 40-50? Isn't Kamen Rider Limb like 40 to 50 episodes?
The previous show, Kamen Rider Wizard, had like 53 episodes.
So we're starting to get close to the end game, whereas ToQger's kind of, you know, starting to take off its plot with the Emperor of Darkness finally showing up, Zet. They're also two kind of very different shows, but it feels like Gaim's kind of more or less kind of overarching in terms of its plot, I've noticed, versus ToQger, you can kind of skip episodes and be okay. Because it's a good episodic season. Sure, and they're also very different. ToQger's very happy and colorful and has a really stupid... I love Wright, but he's really stupid. Sold out his fellow ToQgers for Katsudon, which sounds amazing right now, I'm not gonna lie. I think I might sell you out for food. Ha ha!
You won't dare! Even for a Katsudon.
Yes! I will sell you off right now.
Oh... You can sell me out, but only for a kachidoki.
Okay. That sounds good. But yeah, ToQger, do you feel that, like, I've like, noticed I can kind of, like, relax watching ToQger, where Gaim, I have to, like, watch everything. I'm like, I
agree with what you're thinking, and, like, ToQger is a really whimsical show, even though it starts to have a little bit of grim spots on it because of the whole dark motif.
Yeah.
And Gaim is doing exactly the opposite. Well, having a lot of dark in it, but having blots of light.
Yes, like Kota, shonen hero extraordinaire. Oh, Kota.
I think it's actually in his genes because the actor himself was born on the exact day that Kamen Rider started, not same year.
But the
I'll
same,
just
like on the anniversary, because I know he's like from the 90s. He was born in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm checking it right now, and I don't want to just call him Kota. I just want to talk about the actor.
He's been fantastic.
Yes,
I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, he's been.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look him up too, because his name's at the tip of my tongue.
His name is Gaku Sano.
Sano, yeah, Gaku Sano has been. I hope he does more. Like, because I know he's really excited to get involved in the toku, and I hope we see him more. But he's been hitting all the emotional stuff very well. Carrying the weight of the role of Kota, which it's very interesting. Like, Kota feels like the most distilled shonen hero. Like, you took Son Goku and Jonathan Joestar and just melded them together, and you get Kota. And he's been able to kind of take that title character and really, have some weight behind it. And just, like, when he found out, like, one of the performances I really liked was when he found out, like, Yuya died by his hands, and just him, like, falling on the floor and crying was like, some really good stuff.
If I think I want to make a comparison for Kota, like, I think he's, like, actually the Spider-Man of the franchise.
Yeah.
I think this is the most accurate way you can talk about him, because he learned about the responsibility of using his powers. He tried to abuse them for his own benefits, but it didn't work quite as well. And when he started using his power for protecting others, he felt like he was serving a bigger purpose and building his own sense of justice, the same way that Spider-Man did. He didn't get the honest recognition he was looking for, but he still saved a lot of people, and that was what he was looking for.
Yeah. And, other than, I don't think Kota's as snarky as Spider-Man, there's also the fact that for a while, like, he was trying to save people, and people rejected him, much like Spider-Man. He's, they were like, no, the beat writers, they're bad. And he's like, but we're good. We do good things. I'm a good guy. Oh, while Oren is, trashing their names, because that's what Oren does.
What I like about Gaim, that it reinstated the whole justice motif that certainly lacked in the entire Heisei and Neo-Heisei period. That we got used to writers fighting for their own justice, but it wasn't interpreted that way. They were basically fighting for their own reason, and as opposed to show writers that had a very, very generic purpose, yet a very common enemy. And I think it's really refreshing for this show to bring the justice motif so strong that it makes the character Kota go from easygoing, like, fella that basks in his own glory of power, to a guy that pursues not only to seek equal justice, but accepts the power that he can overthrow others for his own goal, because he believes, like, in a universal justice, not as you can call it, either human justice or, like, beneficial, self-serving justice. He believes in equal justice.
Right, and what's interesting is he's just still going with that, as opposed to kind of a lot of the other antagonists who either had, like, self-serving kind of justice, like Micchi. The reason why we're seeing Micchi the way he's going right now is his original thing, which was, I want to be able to save my friends, has kind of corrupted into this very abusive pattern into, I think might be the term for it, of, like, well, I'm definitely doing what's right for my friends because I know what's right for my friends. And then you kind of had, Takatora, who was, I think, wanting to save humanity, but, kind of went into, well, we can only save so much of humanity. Whereas Kota kind of still has that sense of, I can save everybody. No matter how much, like, other people are, being twisted through these events. Except for Kaido, he still remains power hungry dude. But you see everyone else, and after they've been twisted, or you watch someone become twisted, whereas Kota just has kept who he was. Like, he has kept that sense of justice, and the sense of justice for all.
You brought it up very, very efficiently. I got to admit that. And, like, what's amazing that like, there's something in his ideals that are, like, they're so simple yet so thorough that caught not only the eye of Takatora, but also Sagara's eyes. That for some reason, that beyond of all the people who can seek power or seek dominance over their own personal vices, Sagara chose Koda as, let's just call it, his helping hand.
Yeah.
Like, we still don't know what are the motives for Sagara to assist Koda, but he keeps saying that he likes how he sees justice because he rejects the normal aspects of what we refer to as justice. And he gives him the right nudge because it can accomplish something. We don't know what exactly is that purpose that Sagara wants, but the more we look at it, the more we can think that Sagara has much more bigger, we do not know if it's our darker plans, but it seems like he is in favor of humanity, and he sees Koda as the hugest benefactor for them to fight the Helheim Forest.
Yeah. He really he's really chosen Koda to be his warrior. Now, I feel like if he finds a better one, he'll probably throw away Koda in a heartbeat, because that's just the way things seem to be going right now. But, he's like, out of all the writers that he's kind of seen come up through the Aims games and all that, he really did, like, select Koda. Like, I think you will be, I want you to be chosen. I want you to grasp it. As opposed to, a much earlier episode where he, this is when Kaido and Koda kind of team up to go into the forest, and Sid drives. This is how early it is. Sid was alive. He drives them. Sid drives them out, and they're like, "Well, crap! What are we gonna do?" And there's Sagara, who throws him the tulip lock seed, and then goes, "Well, who will the forest choose? Will it be you or you?" And I think that I'm wondering if he might be, like, part of the spirit of the forest or something, and this is him choosing his warrior, because I don't think he's an overlord. But
I seriously don't know as well, but we've seen Sagara transform to his human form from a snake, like, which is much more similar to the mythology of the Tree of Wisdom from way back in the Bible. And we don't want to go into this section, but as you said, like, it really is safe to assume that he is a very close entity to the forest itself, even though the overlords acknowledge him to the point that they won't resist him.
Yeah, he's something. We don't know yet, and I think that we'll find out, like, through the end of the series. He's kind of been this really weird enigma. I've really been enjoying the character because at first he was just kind of that annoying GJ that just kind of, like, announced the battles and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, like, something else came from this character. Just like, oh, he's working with Yggdrasil. Wait, what's going on? He's not human? What?
Wait. Is that a mechanical orange?
Yes.
A clockwork orange, I'm sorry.
But yeah, he's I think out of, like, all the characters so far, he's been kind of the more mysterious in terms of, like, what he is and who is and what his motives are. Whereas everyone kind of has, like, clear-cut motives of some type, or, as in the case of Micchi, they've been twisted. And it kind of reminds me of another thing I talked to my friends about once, is how there really isn't a villain in Gaim other than the forest. It's more of there are antagonists.
Because, like, it also follows the main principle that writers fight each other. But as you said, no one is antagonizing anyone. Everyone are fighting for their own gain.
Yeah. And that's why you kind of have, a lot of heel face turns and face turn heels. Like, I wouldn't have suspected at this point in the game that Takatora would be on Koda's side, whereas Micchi is on, like, no longer on Koda's side. I'm like, dang, that's something. And now everyone thinks Takatora is dead. This is great.
It's gonna be a huge revival. But I'm I just want to see Michi's face exposed in broad daylight by both Koda and Takatora, and he humiliated the fuck out of.
And I'm like, I love Micchi. I have been known for being one of his defenders, but don't get me wrong, what he's doing is shitty. I really, he's gonna eat his shit apple one day. And as I keep mentioning on Twitter, it's like, yep, Micchi, you're really thinking about your life choices right now, aren't you? You know, like, wow, Sid told you were cold. Sid, who has no problem killing teenagers for no reason. He's like, yep, you're cold. You're a cold-ass motherfucker. And I love Michi's face going, oh, well, fuck. My life sucks. You know, he's, but you know, he's like being a teenager, like, up to 11 of, like, you know, you do shitty things as a teenager, and he's just doing remarkably shitty things as a teenager, because that's kind of how he thought he should be as an adult, is kind of, along with kind of his love and friendship for Koda and Mai and the team, you know, as much as that's been, you know, that got corrupted to, you know, I'm going to protect you guys too. I know what's best for you, and I'm going to do what I think's best for you, even if that means eliminating you. You know, that got warped into that, as well as, you know, he kind of was told, you know, being adult means you got to give up stuff. And he's warped into, you know, like an antagonist at this point. And it's I think that's why I like him, is just his arc has been, you know, as much as it's like you want to just see him exposed in the daylight, as a writer, that arc has just been fantastic. It's been a joy to, well, not really a total joy to watch, but a pretty, like, cool, lovely thing to just watch this character evolve into an antagonist like that. It's just been a fun ride.
Well, the more I look at it, because I started thinking of what you said just now, and like, Micchi actually became the twisted image of his own brother, like the way he saw his brother.
Yeah, and that's who he like constantly kind of looked up to being an adult, was his brother. That's a really good point. It's like, whereas his brother kind of, and it almost feels like his brother became more him. Like, I'm gonna follow Koda, and I think that he's got a good plan going on. It feels like that they swapped roles.
Yeah, it was really, really sudden, but it makes sense that they've switched roles, because he uses the constant image of his own brother, begetting his social interaction, because like he told him there will be more important things to do in life later on, and he took it very, very seriously once he understood he has a much more bigger position and power, if it was bargaining for Sid or joining his brother in the cause. But he didn't learn to separate that. Even Takatora himself wanted to protect things. Like, he didn't want to do anything for his own personal gain.
Yeah, but Takatora was, as I made the Mass Effect jokes, and when I used to do recaps, Takatora was kind of the renegade shepherd side of things. Like, I will protect humanity, but I am willing to sacrifice for it. You know, is really what, you know, it's the renegade. Whereas, you know, Koda kind of represented the paragon, where it's like, we don't need to sacrifice in order to save humanity. And, Takatora kind of never had that selfishness that Micchi kind of did when he started these things, when he started becoming a writer.
Well, from what I see, what separates Micchi from both Takatora and Koda, that Micchi got into the invest games mostly because of Mai. Because he wanted to be her beacon of hope, like her center of attention. Because since the start, Mai never thought of him about being part of the group. So I bet Micchi thought, like, if I was like a part of the group itself, she'll look at me. Like, as much he was sad that Koda was unable to fight, but he drew on hope from it. And then he didn't have a problem with it at first, but then he suddenly noticed that things weren't going as he should, and he started getting power in people from other places to join him, and things have started to escalate. They became corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, like, I know things haven't been really clear, but I think he's seriously in love with Mai.
No, I actually have felt that too. You know, especially when the one episode where they're kind of it's like supposed to be hinted to be like really early on, and you almost feel his jealousy when she mentions Kota. He's kind of like, oh, and I feel like I do feel like that too a lot, you know. As much as, you know, I can put on my slash goggles and be that sort of fan, I feel like Micchi, whether it's romantic love or, you know, brotherly love, whatever, he really does love Mai, and that's kind of his, you know, no matter how you interpret it, you know, it's love for Mai, and that's kind of been his, you know, other than the rest of Team Gaim, that has been kind of his, like, he really does want to be her beacon of hope, as you pointed out. Wants to be her hero. Because he really kind of did take the drastic measures when Kota wanted to stop being a beat writer. He was like, no, I don't want to be Gaim anymore. And then we got grapes.
Grapes.
It sounds so funny. We're like, let's seriously discuss the plot of Gaim, and then fruit motif. But
also, I'd like to mention that have you seen the movie War?
I haven't seen the movie War yet. I need to grab that.
I won't go through too many details, but it regards Micchi at a certain point that he acquires something that, if the movie does serve to be canon in some way, it might be very, very integral. Even though people really doubt how much of a canon the movie really is, but if he does use the certain thing, I don't want to talk about because I want you to enjoy the movie and see it for yourself. It'll serve as the complete antagonization of Kota.
Not like there wasn't any already. Well,
I'm just saying it'll be up close and personal.
It'll be up close and personal. So let's talk about something lighter. Well, sort of lighter. Let's talk about JDF here, because we love smack talking JDF. Let's just.
Oh, it's our hobby as of late.
It's our hobby to just constantly you and your Photoshop creations of JDF.
I always try to make JDF's presence known through various terrible Photoshop edits of him being quite the attention more that he is. Like, we'll link you to some of them in the link of the podcast so you can understand how he basically functions to us and how much of a terrible Photoshopper I am.
It's JDF! Jump out the window!
Yeah, it's JDF versus the world.
Yeah, JDF versus the world. We don't know if it's Scott Pilgrim versus the world, or like, or JDF actually versus Dio Stand. I think Dio
that's
would
an
win.
actually nice way to put it. We should make a segment. JDF versus something.
JDF versus something.
So like, I think the whole segment should be like Jason David Frank versus something out of Jojo. So, like as we just stated, like the first thing we should put out is against the world.
The world. I think he'd die horribly. It's No, wait. I don't know. He might become one of Dio's henchmen.
I don't think even Dio would want that.
Dio would be like, yeah, sure, go knock yourself out, and then have, like, the joke stars kill him.
Like, yeah!
He'd be like, yeah,
look me up on Facebook.
yeah, look me up on Facebook. That's my stand.
Hey, you wanna buy my crap?
Yeah, I think Dio would just kill him. I'm not gonna lie. I think the world would just... I don't know what the world would do to him. I really want to say the knife thing, but I think that's too good for JDF.
Like, I don't think he would want to have JDF's blood spilled, because it would cause an infection, like if he drank his blood.
Like, oh hell no. I may be a douchebag, but I don't need that much douchebag. Oh, I'm trying to think how, like, maybe stop time and then use use JDF as a shield. I'm thinking that's how he dispatches JDF.
I think another worthy cause would be using the limo he drove in Cairo.
Just have either JDF be the driver or run JDF over with it. Like, nope.
Run JDF if it means we can save Waldo.
Yes, JDF save JDF over Waldo. I hope that Easter egg is kept in the anime. By the way.
Holy crap, that would be so amazing.
Like, just see Waldo die. No, not Waldo.
I'm sorry for going away from the whole attention whoring that is JDF to ask a question. Have you seen the I think we can call it the Battleizer for ToQger?
Oh my god! I like, everyone is excited. I'm like, that is gaudy as fuck. This is gonna be hilarious. It looks like it looks like the stuff from Gosager.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Are you recycling? Like, it's cool and stuff, but make it a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know if gold was the absolute necessary choice. They could make it a red redesign of the red Resha.
Mm-hmm.
And just give it a little much more edge. But beyond that, I'm not entirely disappointed in it. I just want to see more power-up upgrades for the rest of the crew. Because much as I was the Kyoryu carnival form in Kyoryuger was it was awesome and all because it let Daigyu use the snap together combinations on the Zord itself.
Mm-hmm.
They actually changed the color of his gloves and weaponry, even on his foot, according to the combo used. But it still felt like the other Rangers were mostly depowered because they couldn't use their powers because he used their batteries. And in this show, I really want to see the other Rangers get another power up. I remember seeing stuff like in Gosager, Geku Rangers. They had power ups that were accessible to the entire group. In Gokaiger itself, I was satisfied with the fact that only Guy was able to enter gold mode.
Yeah.
Because he was such a fanboy.
Yeah. Oh, Guy. If I were a ranger, it'd probably be Guy.
I would be happy to be a Guy. And maybe I don't know. I think I should try to do a cosplay for it one time. At least it doesn't demand much out of me, and I can just do the pose and act like a really, really fanboy for the first time.
It's like, oh, I see you really got into character acting like a fanboy. I'm like this all the time.
Well, I just do you remember when they entered the topic of the Battleizer into the shows?
Yeah,
do you remember the first Battleizer?
In Power Rangers, because that's where it kind of started. Or in Super Sentai.
I think the question still stands. Whatever it goes because I think the content is still taken from Super Sentai.
The Battleizers, I believe was actually an American thing because Bandai was like, we need to sell more toys and we really want the masculine chiseled ab stupid thing. So that's it became kind of a Power Ranger thing that there were Battleizers, but then there were some basically Sentai kind of took it sometimes. And they used to do an entire team worth whenever they would do a Battleizer. Because I remember, Go Busters, they kind of had that in Deca Ranger. There was SWAT mode. Oh,
yeah, I think that was an original thing for the show.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the information, and the original Battleizer was on in space.
Yes, it was Power Rangers in space.
And I'm looking at the costume itself, and wow, they're bringing the abs.
Yeah, there, as kind of the joke goes between the American and the American and the Japanese kind of differences between the toys is like the American ones are so much beefy. It's like, wow, you basically decided to put people who were, about gymnast build, like, lightly built and everything, dancer gymnast to Jojo, Fist of the North Star, Dragon Ball Z old shonen build. Like, they're just walls of muscle.
I'm also seeing something called the Shogun Ranger in Samurai that they look really, really weird.
Oh god, the Shogun. Oh, that was so stupid. And it was funny that not everyone got to use Shogun mode either. They had like all the modes out for toys, but nobody, like, not everyone got to use that dumb mode.
Do you remember the red Sentinel form? And I think it's on what show is it called? No, it was on Operation Overdrive.
God.
I'm looking at the design itself, and I'm looking at the buckle on his chest. It's actually the belt from Kuga.
Oh my gosh, I gotta look this up because I have most of my memories of Operation Overdrive kind of blanked from my memory. I did. Kudos to anyone who likes that season, and a recent rewatch made me slightly enjoy it more, but it is one of those seasons that I can just say was just kind of...
Yeah, of course, the likes and dislikes of ourselves are not to be taken seriously. That if you disagree with us, you can happily say it, but like we don't want to push any opinions onto others. But we can all, and we most definitely don't want any hate regarding JDF. Like we will love his role as, first of all, as the Green Ranger, White Ranger, and all the other variations he had. We basically just dislike how he abuses his own popularity.
Well, Tommy's not my favorite, but even still, like, JDF can... He can... Yeah, he's been abusing his popularity, but I don't really want to, like, wish ill on him, He's a person. He's allowed to live his life, just, be less of a douchebag. It's kind of...
The only opinion I think that he should act more responsible as a role model because, as you know, Tenma has covered a video regarding all the most important events that took place that JDF was in the center, which was Morphin Madness or the disappointed fan and daughter that met him on the convention that went viral.
Yeah.
And we are mostly talking about the facts and our opinions are pretty much based. Like, we can understand if people disagree with us, but we are basically talking about our disapproval of his actions as a role model.
Yeah, that he does try to be. It's kind of rather sad that he keeps, and one of the things that kind of bugs me is how much his ego is he keeps on like wanting a solo Green Ranger movie and wanting the franchise to be about him or one person, and I'm like, but that's not the point of Power Rangers. Power Rangers is a team show.
Like, we can see that some shows don't go along with it, like ToQger, which is very infamous because it's centered around the Red Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the most way that people would find it nauseating to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, the show still tried to balance everything. Like, every character had the same amount of episodes to characterize it, and like, I didn't see much of Power Rangers. I didn't follow even the Megaforce, Super Megaforce, Samurai stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And all I know that Saban is abusing their rights and underpaying their supposedly role model actors.
Of course, like they always do.
Yes, and somehow JDF clings onto it in a way that not only that he has a free way to do as he wants, and Saban won't say no to him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't want to say like he doesn't take his fans seriously, but he's been acting childish for a role he started building an invisible career over the past 20 years, and he haven't grown much out of it. Because like there are other actors that have branched out. Like the most clear example we can say is Johnny on Bosch,
Yeah,
that has that showed up in like much more action choreography projects, anime dubbing, and needless to say that Johnny Young Bosch is participating in an action movie. Like I think it's sort of a biflick, but regardless of the fact that he's branching out and trying to, he basically outlived his Power Ranger life.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's fondly remembered, like I haven't seen JDF do as such to serve as an example that you can branch out as an actual actor. Like I know JDF is an MMA fighter.
MMA fighter, and he owns his own
and that's perfectly all right. But the very fact that he monopolizes his own popularity upon the role in the most balanced and unsavory way, that's what I disapprove of him.
Yeah. And you're right, like Johnny Jan Bosch really has kind of done a lot of things outside of that. Like he's a musician too. He's in a band called I Shine. This is a pretty good band. He's done dub work. He has like acted beyond that. There's Amy Jo Johnson has actually gotten some solid acting work. The original Pink Ranger. She was recently on a drama show about Canadian. I think the Canadian SWAT team called Flashpoint. And I think she recently got casted in another thing. She's a musician as well. There's actually I can say that a lot of people in the original cast have gone on to done like other things and don't really monopolize on who they used to be. Like, they'll go to cons and say like, yeah, that was me, but they kind of are like, we did kind of move on with our lives. That was a part of my life and will always be a part of my life. But I think Jason Narvey once said like about Power Rangers. He's the guy that played Skull. Like I think he said something like it's like the you're all like the friend you thought was cool, but kind of is stinking up your couch, and he needs to move out. But you still have like fond memories of that friend. It was something like that he said in an interview about power about a lot of people kind of coming back now for the 20th like thing of Power Rangers. Despite everyone's kind of moved on from their life, but JDF kind of like he constantly insists he is like the Green Ranger. Like I am the Green Ranger, and he'll be like, I am the one true Green Ranger, man. Ha ha ha! I'm JDF.
Yeah,
I'm JDF. It's so awesome. Be the first to comment on my new podcast, Mancats, and you'll get a signed photo of my toilet paper. Yeah!
Like, this is the problem I have with GTA, the last one, I promise. That, he promised a lot of personal, items very, very oftenly. And, like, he could have just, like, made a couple of t-shirts, advertised them, and not like flail it around like, yeah, they could be like, yeah, our store has some new shirts, buy them, yeah. The first few buyers will have a autographed shirt, yeah. Like I can respect that.
Yeah.
But like, buy my trash, like it has my signature on it, yeah.
Yeah,
it's disrespecting to the fans.
Yeah, it'd be, like you said, it'd be one thing if he was like hyped up selling t-shirts that he signed or something. That's stuff that he sells. But he's hyped up selling like his freaking plane ticket. I'm like, I know when I went to see Fall Out Boy and I went to a meet and greet, the only thing I had that was able to sign was my actual concert ticket. That's a concert ticket. You know, that's something I went to see them with and everything.
It's relevant.
It's relevant to it, and it later became my bookmark for all my Alan Moore reading. But you know, it's relevant to, you know, to what I did, whereas like the plane ticket, you know, just what relevancy is that? You might as well just send them a signed like piece of paper, you know. And I love how we will just end on JDF rants.
I will do them as often as fans demand it to.
And we'll try to keep up with the segments of JDF versus random JoJo people. I think Dio was kind of a hard one because I'm like, Dio would just kill him.
Yeah,
he wouldn't even use his stand.
We'll try to mix it up because the most powerful stands and the weaker stands, like to give JDF a chance. Like, I think we are gonna prioritize and sing like how lame a stand would be that it'll be beaten by JDF.
I think Kenny G could beat JDF.
I don't want to say it without reviewing the facts with you before the next podcast.
You did say the lamest stand.
I know, but like sometimes I think he deserves a fair fight, but yes. I don't want to give him to it just yet. I don't want him to sign on Kenny G.
Well, I'm Tenma.
And I'm Kotaku.
And we will see you next time for Mancat.
Stay tuned and thank you for hearing us.
Yes.